Hi everyone, my name is Rain, and today we are very happy and excited to have invited Elene Lam, the Executive Director from Butterfly, to speak with us a bit about the work their organization does. So,
Hi, everyone.
hi Elaine, thank you very much for joining us. I know you're very busy, so we really do appreciate that you're able to manage to take some time to have this chat with us and share with us some important information. So my first question to get us started off is like, what are some of the core services that Butterfly provides to the Chinese community and Asian community in Canada here?
Hi, so Butterfly is an Asian and Migrant sex worker support network. So instead of positioning ourselves as a social service organization, provide service, we position Butterfly as a grassroots organization, is organizing the Asian and migrant sex worker and the worker working massage parlor to organize themselves to fight for their rights. So of course, in the process, we also have a lot of support and service. So building the leadership is one of the core work we are doing because we believe the community know the best about themselves. So we also have hotline and outreach. So in order to build a relationship with the community and also know about the issue, what is facing by the community. So we also have a lot of crisis support because many of the workers, they face the challenge of different type of violence, including from law enforcement, including domestic violence and also workplace violence. So we also offer the support because some of the workers also face a lot of legal issue, including like being criminal charged, or they also have issue of facing arrest, detain, and deportation. So we also organize a lot of training because we believe that information is the power. So that how to support the worker to know about the right and know about different resources, it is also important to our work. So because they are facing a lot of injustice and especially a lot of problematic law and different type of oppression. So we also do a lot of advocacy work to advocate to change the unjust policy, including the bylaw that make the worker be more vulnerable. So, and also to stop the violence from the law enforcement. So, and also advocate for the decriminalization of sex work. We also do a lot of public education to help the society to have better understanding of the community, to eliminate the discrimination against them, and also support them to advocate for their right. So including recognize the harm created by the anti-trafficking initiative, because many people think anti-trafficking is a good thing, but actually a lot of policy make the worker be more dangerous and also violate the right, and many worker is result of being harmed by those policy. So we also build an allyship with other movement. So for example, racial justice movement, and also the sex worker movement, for example, advocate for the decriminalization of sex work, advocating for the status for all with the Migrant Rights Network. So that the main work do by Butterfly.
Mm. So can you maybe share with us some of the stigmas and discrimination that, say, for example, sex workers have, and then also maybe also then some of the challenges that the Chinese communities, the Chinese sex workers and migrant workers may face as well, and some of the similarities and differences between the two.
Yeah, so because of the myth and also because of the discrimination and misunderstanding, so many people think that the sex worker are the immoral women, or they are bad people, or they are either the criminal because there is a lot of criminal law around sex work. It also make a lot of people think sex worker are the criminal. So if they're not criminal, they are also perceived as the victim, particularly as traffic victims. Though those image actually is the stigma and stereotype to deny the rights of the sex worker, and so that make them become more vulnerable and they face a lot of discrimination. So many sex worker is not able to disclose their work to the other people, including service provider and also their family member. So that make them be more isolated and more underground. So as Chinese community is adding one more layer of racism, because we can see not so much rape or not so much uh, violence against the white sex worker, right? So that is like the racial profiling of sex worker is mainly against the racialized people, including like Asian sex worker, Chinese sex worker. They're being seen as passive, vulnerable traffic victim, but they use it as the excuse actually to arrest them, detain them, or shut down the business. So this is all the discrimination is supporting, reinforce the harmful policy against them. Particularly, recently have so many white savior, particularly from the anti-sex worker organization. They claim they are anti-trafficking, but actually they are targeting sex industry and trying to shut down the business or promote the criminalization of the sex work. So many of them is lobbying different government to shut down the massage parlor, and predominantly many massage parlor are run by Asian, particularly Chinese. So many of them is being like affected. For example, in Toronto last year, almost like 2,000 workers almost lost the job because of the advocacy of the so-called white saver. So
Mm, wow. Um, so now with the pandemic, since the beginning of the pandemic, how do you think the needs of the communities that your organization serve has been evolving?
yeah, so that because we position ourselves as a human rights organization, we are not only looking at the need, we are also looking of the issue and problem faced by the community. So in pandemic actually is expose the crack of the social system, expose the oppression and challenge faced by the sex worker and also the massage parlor worker. So, for example, most of them is denial from access the income support because of their immigration status or because of the criminalization of sex work. Many sex worker and massage parlor worker already being excluded from any social support, but during the pandemic, even there are different government support, but they are not able to access it. And the other is they have been facing a lot of policing, a lot of like oppression from different laws, including by law, immigration law. And during the pandemic, is also continues. So, for example, the worker in massage parlor, they receiving the ticket for opening business, even they allowed to open the business because the massage parlor has been already all often being targeted by the law enforcement. So before they were not able to close the door, to lock the door up to screen the client and protect the safety. So and that also increase the risks and dangers. So there is a lot of harmful policy, but during the pandemic, it increase the level of violence because more people is targeting them for robbery, and also at the same time the law enforcement also increased the power. So for example, the Ontario government have passed the law that the law enforcement is able to do the ID check, so that is make the worker become more underground. At the same time, when worker do not access any income support in Ontario, have $300 million allocated to anti-trafficking work. Actually, it's create more harm to the community. It's a lot of funding go to the police to raid the place and also increase the dangers and make the worker be more isolated. So those the problem already facing by the worker. But during the pandemic, they were not able to work. They are still continues to facing not able to access social service and support and income support. They are also continues facing the the challenge and oppression from the law enforcement, and the level even like increased during the COVID.
Hmm. And what are some of the resources that your organization has developed to address some of these concerns of your community in response to the pandemic?
Yeah, so we really believe that information is important power, so that we have tried to translate different information for the community member, because many of them do not able to access the full information because of the language barrier. In addition to the information, we also let them know about the rights, because only know the information many people still cannot access, so that we also let them know about the rights. And we also support them to overcome the barrier. Some of the people may able to may be eligible to apply some of this income support or other social service, but because of the fear and also language barrier, they're not able to get it. So that's we also have the volunteer and some of our team member to support the application, to do interpretation. So we also have a lot of a company service in this moment. So assess the people to assess health service and also overcome some legal challenge. So and help them to assess the legal clinic. So but I think the most important work we have been doing is advocate for the right of the worker, including the status for all the income support, but also advocate to stop the harmful policy against them. So for example, we organize the people in massage parlor to advocate the rights to meet the city staff, to advocate that they can lock the door to protect the safety, and some of the worker were not able to renew the license because of they were not able to get the work permit. So that some of the worker also shared this concern with the policymaker to bring the change. So and we also organize some petition because only the worker the voice is so small and also often not being heard. So that we also build the allyship with other organizations to advocate the rights together.
Mm. And so now, as we are facing the second wave of the pandemic, and winter coming, do you see any more emerging challenges that we will need to work to prepare for?
Yeah, I think the challenging is huge because some of the people were able to get the income support with the with our support and assistance and help them to navigate the system. Because of the second wave, there's more and more policy is more restrictive, so more people are being excluded from like so for example the people before if they have report tax before, they are still able to apply serve, but many of them were not able to do so because they do not have like the immigration status proof. So and because the impact the exclusion has been so long and the pandemic has been so long, and the problem they are facing is accelerating. But at the same time, the resources we got to support them is also lesser and lesser. So this is really, really challenging because people do not only facing like the risks of the health issue, facing the not able to get the income. Some of them may have some saving before, but because it's really long time, right? So that they are not able to get it. Some people have housing issue, and some people is also facing the law enforcement oppression. They were not able to work, so that the level of problem they are facing is increasing.
Mm. And so, since we do have so many organizations out here in the GTA and lots of organizations, including ProTech, what do you think are some of the work that we can do to support each other in terms of more effectively addressing our community's concerns and needs?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important to help more community member and also different organizations to have better understanding about the sex worker and massage parlor worker and eliminate the discrimination against them. Why they are being isolated, why they are not able to access different service, um, why they are being targeted by the law enforcement and government is because of the discrimination and stigma. They're being seen as the bad woman, they're being seen as bad people, they're being seen as criminal or victim. Those like negative image and stigma actually is reinforce those harmful policy against them. So this is very, very important to help to educate other service provider, also share this information with the network of Protect and also other organizations have better understanding the issue faced by the worker and eliminate the discrimination. The other thing is because, as I said, many workers, even they voice out, their voice is not being heard. We need the ally to support the policy change, so that we need the support from different people. So, for example, to advocate for the decriminalization of sex work, and what's immediate need is there are so much funding uh, allocated to law enforcement and social service provider. Those is of the anti-trafficking work that is increasing the surveillance and raid and arrest and detain and deportation of the against the migrant sex workers. So we have a petition. We really want you to help to share this petition, to sign the petition to stop the harm of anti-trafficking policy against the migrant sex worker and the workers in massage parlor. So, and we also doing fundraising because, as I said, many worker is not able to access any income support or government service, or they are not able to access the social service organization. So that we are doing fundraising, and I hope that we can get more resources, including funds or any other supply like masks or any cleaning supply, so that we can deliver to the community.
Mm. And so tell us more, since we've talked so much about the important work that you're doing. All of it is so important because sex workers face so much complications, right? Layers upon layers of like issues. Can you tell us how then the public can perhaps get in contact with you and get in touch and be more involved to help your organization out?
So Butterfly can be contacted by email. So you can email to CSW Butterfly BUTTERFLY at gmail.com, or you can go to our website butterflysw.org. So, and we need your support because we need you to recognize sex work as work. We need your support to eliminate the discrimination of sex workers. We need your support to advocate for the decriminalization of sex work and also stop the harm of anti-trafficking initiative and policy. And also, we also want you to support the racial justice as well as the Status for All campaign, so that the Asian and migrant sex worker, particularly the Chinese sex worker and the worker working massage parlor, can live without the oppression, and so that they can enjoy the same rights as other people.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing all this important information and knowledge with us, Elaine. Really appreciate that.
Thank you. Sign the petition.